Claire's choices. Claire had always led a quiet life, punctuated by her well-established habits in a small provincial town. At 32, she was working as a nurse in the local hospital, surrounded by colleagues she had known for years. Her daily life was divided between her dedicated work and her modest apartment, where she found the reassuring silence of a solitary life. However, a shadow loomed, a growing feeling of dissatisfaction, as if she were missing out on something essential. One day, everything changed. Claire received an unexpected call from her brother, Thomas, with whom she had almost no contact. He lived in Paris, had a brilliant career but had always been distant, more occupied by his ambition than by family ties. However, this time, he needed her. Their mother had just been hospitalized after a stroke, and Claire understood that it was time for her to return to a place she had avoided for too long: her family. Arriving in Paris, Claire found herself confronted with a world very different from her own. The city seemed immense, oppressive, but that was nothing compared to the tension she felt when she saw her brother. Far from the image of success he projected, Thomas seemed exhausted, overwhelmed by his responsibilities and caring for their mother. For the first time, they had to face it together. As the days passed, between hospital visits and late-night discussions, Claire realized that the distance between her and her brother was filled with unspoken things. Silent reproaches accumulated over the years. Little by little, childhood memories resurfaced, wounds and misunderstandings. The family gap seemed unbridgeable, but instead of fleeing this time, Claire decided to face the situation. She also discovered another side of Paris. During her moments of respite, she strolled the streets, stopped in cafes, let herself be carried away by the energy of the city. She met people who opened her eyes to horizons she had never imagined: volunteer projects, professional opportunities, a less rigid way of life. As the weeks went by, Claire understood that her life in the countryside had offered her stability, but that it had also trapped her in a stifling routine. Faced with her mother's illness, she learned to forgive, to reconnect, to reinvent herself. She had never really taken risks, but now the city, the encounters, and even the pain of these difficult times offered her a new perspective. Claire's story is that of an ordinary woman, faced with decisive choices. It is a path towards reconciliation with herself and her past, a dive into the complexity of family relationships, and a call to dare the unknown, even when everything seems immutable.